Yay, hello, and welcome to the first episode of the Illuminate podcast. My name is Brian Truskowski with Illuminate, and my first guest today is Dixon from Dixon's Violin. Dixon is the world's premier visionary violinist. His life mission is to inspire people, and he has done so across North America, including giving 3 TED Talks, over 10 years at Burning Man, and radio and TV appearances. He improvises on a 5-string electric violin with a looping system that he personally developed in an all-live one-man symphony guided by his remarkable journey of inspiration and transformation. Welcome, Dixon. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you, Brian. Good to be here. Yay.
So tell us a little bit about yourself before we get into this, like who you are, what you do, and where you're at.
Oh my gosh. Well, what I normally do is share inspiration through music, and I'm blessed to be touring the continent. And I had left a pretty serious technology career to follow my dream, and then I'm excited to be sharing music until recently, where now the whole world is on pause at the moment. And so right now, I, like most people, I'm hunkering down. I'm blessed to be home, so safe and sound at home, and just practicing social distancing and basically caring for myself and for the community until things open up again, and then I'm looking forward to getting back on the road.
Nice. Awesome. That's super wonderful. So we just have a few questions that we're going to go through today. Yeah, I mean, we're all on, as I've been telling people, we're all in uncharted territories. There's no maps for where we are right now, right? We're all figuring it out. The playing field's just been completely leveled, right? So we're all figuring it out. So absolutely. So the first question I have is what are 3 things that you don't really hear people talking about that you want people to know about, that you want people to hear, either in your personal life or at large?
Good question. One thing I've noticed is that while there's a lot of hard things going on, there's some people dealing with some really hard stuff. One thing that I've noticed is that generally care is up. I have witnessed so many beautiful exchanges between people where we're really looking out for one another. From little things, like I'm at the grocery store, wearing a mask and keeping my distance, but like people are asking how you're doing, or can I help you with anything? Do you need anything? Or like I like to go for a walk to get some fresh air and exercise. And if I see a person in the distance or a car driving by, like we're waving at each other. Even the last time I drove, which was a while ago, like at the gas station, striking up a conversation with the person next to me, 12 feet away. But like those things didn't used to happen. It's so amazing now how much we're like really like caring for each other. And yeah, there's some exceptions, and there's still some people that are acting like jerks. And unfortunately, that's what catches the news, is you hear about the jerks and the people acting poorly towards one another. But what we aren't talking about is like there's so, like on a worldwide basis, we're really thinking about the health and well-being of other people, and I think that's beautiful.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's so true. That's one thing I will say that I'm happy to see, is that a global concern is happening right now that used to not be there. So absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Another thing that's been on my mind that I've seen some glimmers of that isn't talked about as much as I'd like to is the just the fact that because we're all on pause now, that Mother Nature is just blooming right now. It's amazing. There are, like, pollution is down. There are cities where there's normally haze or smog, and like it's clear, like Los Angeles. It's like clear sky for the first time ever. Like there's places in India where people are like, I've never seen the Himalayas before, and now I can see them. Like it's quite amazing, the fact that Mother Nature's gotten a breather. Even to the fact I read that the Earth is vibrating less. Like there's less human activity happening. So seismologists that are measuring like little micro tremors, and it's like it's down. Humans have that much impact on the planet that right now Right. And now I get that things will have to shift back. Like we're going to get back going again. But like this to me is proof that it's possible, that it's possible to have less pollution. It's possible to have less impact. And so I'm hoping that we like carry that possibility with us to see how we can at least minimize our impact going forward.
Absolutely. And the other thing I think I heard too are there's dolphins in Venice, like
Yeah,
like swimming through the canals. It's just like, yeah, who knew that? That's
I love
beautiful.
it.
You know,
I love it. Yes,
so
yes, it's great. And then the other the final thought I'll share too on like things that we're really not talking about is like right now I'm really grateful that that our government has stepped in to like offer like there's this $2 trillion stimulus package
right.
that is being offered to help. That's great. What I don't hear talked about is the amount of money. It's like the rest of the budget, and that we have still, even in this time of peace, like we are relatively in peace on a planetary level over decades. Like there's far less wars happening now than there were 50 years ago, for example.
Right.
But we're still spending a ridiculous amount of money on our military budget. And I'm not saying get rid of it, but if we just lower it to where it's more in balance and more with matching with our actual threat is, then we could save, like we could make up that 2 trillion like real quick and actually have a surplus if we just manage that. And no one's talking about that budget and just the amount of money we keep pouring into the military.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for bringing that up. I mean, you're right. There's almost an obscene amount of money going towards defense when even if a fraction of that came towards public health sector, education, infrastructure, whatever, it would be so much beneficial. So yeah, absolutely. All right. So a fun question. What are three things, what are fun things? And so let's say all of a sudden starting tomorrow, you could have people over to your house and we could be social again. What are, I know, right? What are three fun things that you would want to do with your friends that are over now, knowing what we've been through? What would be different? Or what fun things would you do?
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, number one is I just want to reconnect with friends. I just want human connection. And like, so yeah, having people over, having friends over just for dinner, having, you know, sharing a hug, or even like on a personal level, like even intimate connections. Like there are love interests or lovers of mine that I would love to reconnect with and haven't been able to. And I miss that, right? So having human connection, touch connection, share a hug, actually see people face to face, look them in the eye. Um, I miss that, and I can't wait when things open up again, when it's safe again to do that. Like I can't wait to just reconnect with humans, beautiful, wonderful humans. Uh, also, another idea I've had too, like with my work in the world, like so, you know, I've had 20 concerts canceled and counting so far,
Wow.
which is just it's really hard. It's hard for me. Um, and so I can't wait to get back into that. And I recognize it'll need to change, right? So um, my my impression is that we'll need to baby step into opening things back up. You know, we can't just open the floodgates, right? And so I don't see any large events happening for a long time, but small events could. And I've even had this idea of like uh, backyard concerts, right? Where I could just say, hey, who's got a backyard that's got space where we could have, you know, not a ton of people, you know, maybe it's 40 or 50 people spaced apart, right? So where we could actually enjoy, like I could play music for people and it feel comfortable. We get the advantage of being in nature. You get some space, right? You're not like squished into a theater or in a mosh pit, right? Um, and then I can like share some music. So I'm really digging this idea of doing backyard concerts or like really intimate concerts for people where it's a baby step towards that.
I think that's fantastic. And when you told me about that the other day, I thought that was just, yeah, that's just hitting it out of the park. I love it.
I
Nice.
can't wait. And then the other one I want to do is just have a dance party. I just I just want to be in a setting where there's a lot of people and where it feels, you know, spacious enough where we can just dance our butts off. I haven't done that in a long time, and I need it. It's really good for me.
I hear you. Have you seen some of the people? I mean, I've seen this all across the country. People are offering virtual dance parties.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I've not participated. I should try that. I should try
Yeah.
that.
It's a bit weird. I don't know. Kind of looking at one person dancing by themselves in the room, and then I'm dancing, and they're dancing. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, at least we have something, right? So absolutely, yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep. I do love that we have this technology now, and we're getting more used to virtual connections. That's better than nothing for sure, for sure.
Yeah, well, we're all, like I said, we're all kind of redrawing the map right now, right? So, all right, and now we're going to roll up with one last question. What's one important message that you want to share with the world that you feel is really coming from your heart that you want everyone to know?
Yeah, I want us to carry forward that we don't take for granted human connection.
Mm.
Um, I used to connect with data. Like I'm a geek. I was in the technology world forever, and I was always in my mind, my head space, and not my heart space. And when I realized the power of human connection and the emotional depth that we can share together, I realized it's sacred. It's so special. And now a lot of us aren't getting it at all, right? So I'm blessed to be with my beloved here, quarantined at home. But a lot of people are like solo and having a hard time with that. And I can't wait for things to open up. And my wish is that we appreciate it. Um, in my old world before this, before Corona, BC, I I could take for granted, like, just walking on a sidewalk past somebody and not even looking at them, or just taking, assuming, oh yeah, it's just another thing. But now it's like, no, that's a human, that's a soul, that's somebody special there, that we can have this connection. And so my wish is that we carry that forward.
Mm. Absolutely. Thank you so much for that. That's a really great message because you're right. It's all about perspective, right? And before we didn't have that perspective, and now we have like almost this. We almost went into scarcity with connection, and so now like, oh my God, I completely see what I've been missing. You don't know what you got till it's gone, right?
Yeah.
And so I love that you put that into context of even what you said earlier with the gas station, like just acknowledging other humans on a like, hi, I see you. Hi, I love you. I don't know who you are, but let's have a talk from 10 feet away, right? And I mean, I've had a few of those myself, and it's like uh, the person I was talking with one time was like, this meeting never would have happened.
Mm.
I never would have had this meeting with you had this whole thing been going on, because we would have been busy in our cars and our little antenna hand, just buzzing about like little ants, right?
Mm.
So yeah. Well, awesome. Any other parting words you want to share before we wrap this right now?
I miss you all, and I can't wait to reconnect. And thank you, Brian, for this opportunity.
Yes. Thank you, Dixon, for being a part of this. Thank you all for listening and following this. Once again, I'm Brian Truskowski with Illuminate. This is Dixon with Dixon's Violin. And thank you all for joining us. Get out there, make a beautiful and blessed day. Take care, everyone.